I think all of us want to paint florals, and it is a tricky thing of how to paint it right. I am explaining stepwise process of how I go about painting my florals. I start out with the darkest value towards the bottom, and then I will blend it to the lightest value while I go towards the top. Each and every petal I take separately. So every petal needs to be treated like a separate entity altogether. Once you are done with that petal, you have to let it dry or not work on a petal that is adjacent to it. This is a very, very important point, or else the colors from one of the petals will move to the other petal, giving your painting not so good depth. Each of the petals have different light, temperature as well as exposure. Some of the parts are more on the darker side or they are in the shadows, whereas the other parts are more lit up. The lit up parts will have more of whites in it, and I am not using any kind of wash. I would be using the paper white, which is majorly the sketchbook paper. Blending goes as one of the most important technique at this stage. The better you can blend your colors in a really small space like this, the better would be your outcome. You can see I have also taken some amount of violet. I will be changing my brush from size 4 to size 3. You can also go ahead with smaller size like size 2. My paper size is around A5 or even a bit smaller is absolutely fine. The part which I am painting now is more into the shadow, and hence I need to add more darker values compared to what I have added to the right adjacent petal. Florals painting do need a lot of patience because each and every petal you are concentrating on and you are painting one and then moving on to the other. The whole of the video is at 2x speed, so you can see that my painting goes way more quicker. You can go ahead and adjust the speed, that's secondary, but all I am stressing now as my third point is you need to have a lot of patience for any kind of florals painting. You have to continue to paint even the other petal as I see that hardly has any color in it. So I will just blend some amount of opera color which I had on the palette with the darkest value, and while I come towards the interior side, I will make it more and more lighter. While I say that we have to concentrate on each of the petals, but the middle part of the petal has to be way more darker. And I'm concentrating on it with the help of my darkest value that's there on the palette. You can mix some amount of ultramarine blue in it to create the shadows. Shadows and light plays a great role in a watercolor painting. And if you are doing florals, I think it's one of the keys. So, this is my fourth point. You have to always look into the shadows as well as what is the light that's coming on the areas which are more lit. Now I am starting out with another bud. This is also quite big. You can see that whole of the page that I have taken has majority of the area covered by these soft petals as well as soft buds and the florals altogether. So the flower is there, the bud is there, the composition is not in the middle of the painting, and it is somewhere skewed towards the right side. How or what is the most important aspect of a composition is not to place it in the middle of the painting. Always try to place it in four major corners, which is majorly as per the rule of thirds, and it is dividing your paper into 9 equal halves, placing it on the spaces which are my intersecting points. That's all you need to keep in mind when you do these kind of paintings, blending with the purple color while you go towards the bottom, and then again adding some amount of your pink to blend it further. You can use any kind of your flat brush to pick up the colors if needed. Sometimes what happens is that we have added colors which are way more darker than what we expect. and then blend it with your thinnest brush while you go towards the middle part of this floral. The whole of this bud looks really, I would say, soft and nice, as we are individually treating each one of them. That's the most important aspect of watercolor florals, and you continue to improvise. If you have already painted one of the petals, doesn't mean you cannot retouch it. Depending on how the adjacent petal is turning up, you can always retouch your first petal. So going back to your floral petals in layers is always a great idea. Having said that, if you are someone who wants to work quick, I think only retouching at a few areas is good to go to create that depth. How you approach any floral painting, either you can go ahead and complete all your flowers and then go with the greens, or else what you can do is you can simultaneously work on the each and every part, like dividing your whole of the painting into buds and leaves, and then only approaching the final piece, which is majorly your flower. The whole concentration would be on the floral that is there, and it is pretty huge. So all I am right now trying to do is get a layer done for the leaves and the floral part of it. When I approach my buds and leaves initially, what happens is it gives me a lot of confidence to go about in this painting in a easy manner. You may not take all the pressure of creating the best of the petals or the best of the buds at this moment, whereas you can just practice on these buds and then move to the more of the difficult part or more pressure creating kind of a part, which is the floral. Once I did create these leaves, and I have gone ahead with some of the browns towards the bottom part of these leaves. What happens is I get a lot more confidence. Watercolor is more about mindset and confidence. The better you are with your confidence level, the better would be your outcome. Of course, having said all of it, you need to also work on your skill set. Skill set only develops once you start painting on a regular basis. And for this, I should stress upon the fact that you should always keep a sketchbook of your choice by your side. Even if you are traveling, even if you are wanting to paint a very simple painting somewhere where you may not get much of a time, or you are getting back from work and want to paint on a regular basis daily at home, go ahead and keep a sketchbook by your side to create any small paintings of your choice. This particular painting can also be done in stepwise manner, and the only way you should approach the painting is go ahead, paint one of the buds or paint both the buds, leaves, etc. Keep it, and then come back to it the next day and paint the florals. You can even paint the stem along with it, and once there is more time, you can work on the backgrounds. Always approach your painting with the amount of time you have in hand. You do not need to rush into any kind of painting or have pressure on you for creativity. Creativity is always a flow. Continue to work with the flow. You may not get the final outcome in one single day, and allow yourself to rest, allow your mind to rest. The better your mind is at ease, the better would be your outcome. While we continue to discuss our key essential points, I think it's important to also look into the leaf as of now. You can see I am creating depth even in terms of the leaves. Some of the parts of the leaves which are overlapping, I think the one in the shadow would be darker and the one on the top will be lighter in value. That's all you need to follow when you are working on any kind of leaf-like structure. Once you add the darkest value, you will get to understand the one in the lighter value, or the one which looks way more lighter is in the area which is more illuminated. Going ahead and adding some of my darker value of green now. Again, each and every leaf that I paint, I treat separately. I work on each one of them and then blend the colors. That's one of the reasons my florals take a lot more time than maybe many of the other artists. But here we are not thinking about the comparison. It's all about the style and the way you want to work. For me, keeping that soft effect of the petal really makes a lot of difference, and it actually brings your painting to life. I will continue working on the other leaves too, and then just add darker value towards the bottom area. As you see, I am using my thinnest brush at this moment, which is size 1, majorly working with size 1 or size 2 brush, as this is the second layer and I don't want to go ahead and make any mistakes at this stage. I always keep blending my colors before I apply it on the final painting. I check it on my ceramic palette, or else you can also go ahead and keep a paper that is rough handy for yourself. I have worked with these colors a lot, and to be frank, I know how it works for me and how I can make the final painting with these shades. So all these shades are my regular shades, but if you are someone who is new, do try your colors on a rough piece of paper before you go ahead and apply it on the final painting. Going ahead and now working on my backgrounds, I have already shown you how I did create the whole of the top part of this florals bud area. You have to use the same technique even for the floral part. Going ahead and now adding some of my indigo, then your lighter value of green, which is majorly my yellow green, into the painting, and then adding some of the colors from my palette itself. I like to use the colors of my palette, even the color of my particular bud or the floral which we have used will be um, it is the major component of my background. You will see how I use it even on my background. The top area, I am blending the colors of the petals which we have used into the background area. That really gives a beautiful touch to the whole of this painting. One of the important lessons at this stage is that do not allow your background to dry out quickly. So smaller spaces which you cover is fine. You can cover with any of the brushes, whether it be size 1, size 2, size 3, but you have to simultaneously work with a larger brush for the bigger areas of the background and add the darker, lighter, any other value in and around the petal, as you observe me adding right now. I've already applied the clean water on the left top corner, and then I am going ahead with the same colors which I have used for the bud. Some I will alter, of course, the darker and the lighter shade in and around the top part of the area where the petal is. I will apply the darker value so that this petal comes to life, or this whole bud comes to life very quickly. And then I will go ahead with the darkest value towards the other part in and around the leaf too. Blending the colors is the key as always, and some of the portions I will just leave in lighter value, and some of the portions I will add some of the darker value. I even pick up the colors wherever I think it is necessary. Working quickly into the background area is the key. As I always say, watercolors is all about working quick and going about each and every step quickly, whether it be skies, whether it be areas which are larger and you want to just add some colors onto these larger areas, you will not be allowed much of a time to do that. And that's one of the reasons when you work on these areas, you have to be very, very quick with your outcome. You can see that I've already started getting some of the hard edges in the area where I'm now applying my colors. Always keep a huge flat brush or even a round brush, you can see how I continue to just blend my colors and add more lighter or darker values into the areas where I need. This is an important aspect of watercolor, and continue to do the same even on the bottom part of the floral area. We will be done in a few minutes with this entire painting. The last and the most important point that I kept for each one of you to work through is, don't be scared of mistakes. Now, this is something that I have learned over the years in watercolors. If you are getting any mistakes, or you did not like something, you did not make a painting of your choice, it's absolutely fine. You do not need to tear off your pages. Just save it on your sketchbook. You may like it later on, or else it's one of the practice things that you understand how you have created, and the final outcome that you get over the years have improved because of that practice which you did a few years back. This is a very important part in any watercolor painting. You cannot be only thinking about the success. There will be only few successful paintings, and there will be a lot of mistakes which you create in the process. I use both sides of the paper. I keep a sketchbook for myself. Sketchbook is my safest place to go ahead with. I keep the sketchbook so that I can create something of my choice. If it turns out beautiful, I do convert it into different kind of videos and give it out to you. S- I mean, this can help you in your journey, and that's what I always try to work on. Progress happens when you keep creating, and creativity is the most important aspect. Keep creating, keep painting with watercolors. It is a very rewarding medium. The more you understand, or the better you partner with this medium, the better it's going to reward you in this process. If you have liked anything about this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and do subscribe to my channel. I come up with 2 videos every week on a regular basis. You can go ahead and check out my earlier videos too. Your support is very important for my journey in watercolors. Do support me on Skillshare if you are there, or else directly you can choose my classes on www.vibrantparcels.com. We even make these kind of sketchbooks, so reach out to me on parcels.